Hey, how is everyone doing? I'm sorry, I'm a little under the weather, as you can see. It's like I'm losing my freaking voice. I think it's the remnant of the cold weather, the last, what do you call it? The last cold wave in New York. That's what it is. I don't know. I had to figure it out, and it doesn't feel good. I mean, obviously, when you are not healthy 100%, then nothing is good. Nothing is good. So uh, I just feel like I went on a rant. And I apologize to my father, actually. I know, I understand I have issues, some issues with my father, from childhood and all that, right? I mean, I feel that maybe he was not there for me or for my siblings when we were growing up or, whatever. He was there, but I feel like he was, he wasn't even talking to me, or, I mean, I wasn't talking to him, and then he didn't even never bother to ask me, hey man, what's going on. But in any case, whatever. But I said sorry to him. But he's my father, uh, and it just like I just feel like maybe I should just not go into the freaking past. Why do I go into the freaking past? Um, it's because obviously I have some issues, deep issues in my subconscious. Some people, I think, they manage to suppress them, and for most part, I do too. But it's just that whatever the hell it is, I mean, maybe I should go to therapy. I don't know. I have no idea. But then you go to a freaking therapist. I did that, right? Like a year ago or something. And I basically started off. I was talking more than he was talking. And I'm like, yeah, man, I just feel like I feel like I'm just too lonely, and it just and I come home from work every night, every day, and I just feel like shit. Means, I mean, yeah, I told him that, listen, man, I think I probably need a girlfriend or a wife or something. This is before I got married. This is before I even started talking to my wife, right? And he was like, hey man, you should find some activities. Really? Oh my god. I'm like, what? Yeah, man, you should maybe find some activities, do something fun, join a club. Like what, like pottery club? Or one of those clubs, you know? And I'm not that kind of a guy, to basically, like, what do you call, mask, pottery as some sort of a class, to just, just to not be lonely or something. Yeah, loneliness sucks, and a lot of people actually live their lives like this on this hemisphere and in the Western world, especially, and also in Japan, countries like Japan, right? Which sucks because, again, didn't I say that we are human beings, and we are social animals? And if you are constantly just by yourself, living by yourself, even though you may be like meeting your friends once or twice a week, right? But you don't have anyone of your own, a human being. I'm not talking about like a robot, but that takes a toll. That takes a real toll on people's lives, and that's not good. And especially after a pandemic, or through pandemic, As human beings, we have gone through this whole freaking, period of like, you know, which we call the jolt, the jolt to the human society on a planetary scale, right? And why? I mean, we know the why question. I mean, we kind of know now. People are saying that pandemic actually rose from the virus in that freaking Chinese laboratory, right, where they were testing these, gain of function research and these viruses exactly. Just like the bird flu viruses, whatever the hell they were doing, right? Not there, but some labs around the world that do that, they test that. And also, wasn't there like a movie with it's like an ensemble cast of like actors, which predicted this goddamn pandemic, right? Why the hell am I talking about uh, movies that predicted pandemic, right? Uh, Contagion, I think it's called Contagion. Yeah. Uh, Hold on a second. World War Z. Oh yeah, it's called Contagion, right? Contagion with Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh my fucking god, I don't like that actress, Gwyneth. Oh, so it's called Contagion, right? Contagion. So Contagion is a 2011 movie. Can you believe that? And and uh, and it's actually directed by Steven Soderbergh, and successful movie. Oh yeah, so there's Matt Damon in there. Oh, it's a huge ensemble of like characters in there, right? Uh, Kate Winslet is there, Jude Law is in there, Lawrence Fishburne is in there. The guy from Matrix, remember? And then Gwyneth Paltrow, right? Which I don't like her for some fucking reason. Um, but uh, yeah, that movie I think predicted like 9 years before this fucking thing happened on this planet, right? And so and so why weren't we prepared for this? Well, because uh, I think it was overblown. And I guess, okay, listen, I don't want to turn my podcast again into this whole discussion about this pandemic. This is over and out, behind our goddamn past. Hopefully, because people like me who were living alone at that point, right? And many of you, I'm pretty sure you feel the same. And it was really tough, and I'm hoping, and I kind of like, not that I pray or my prayers are actually heard by somebody, but I think planetary scale something like this happens again, and then that may be the end of our civilization. Now, the other end of civilization, I think I said this the other night, was the my favorite topic, which is uh, population slowdown in Western countries and Japan, right? Uh, Aging, and nobody wants to have kids except in countries which are poor, you know. So maybe we should just exchange, I think that's what's going to happen, exchange of like humans, which kind of sucks. I mean, if you think about that. Uh, but what you gonna do? Like, what you gonna do? Most of I mean, all of my friends actually here, as far as I know, and my sisters here, none of them have actual kids. You know, some older, some younger. And so what the what the hell am I looking for? I, I checked the mailbox today, and I got $100 actually check from Credit One Bank. That's one of my credit cards. Why did they send me $100 check? Really, I'm one of their best customers. Is that why it is? I'm pretty sure there's a freaking caveat to that, right? Just imagine they raise the interest rate like 1%, right, per month, which becomes like 12% the whole year, right? And then while they slip you a check for $100, you know, just to shut you up, you don't say anything. I don't know. I had no idea, but I got that today, and I was surprised. But getting back to my point, and I apologized. I'm sorry again. I'm just like sometimes I feel like, man, I think what it is that yeah, I have, I have some deep issues, from my childhood and etc. etc. Right? I think I said this in the past. So how to live with those? I mean, I think everybody has a demon in them. So how do you freaking live with those demons and tame them? Tame your dragon. Wasn't that one of the freaking movie series? One of those animated, right? Or for example, if you watch the Star Wars, the first one, right, the second one, I mean the fifth, right, where Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, is getting training under what's his name, right? Uh, uh, God damn it, I don't even fucking remember their names anymore. These freaking fictional characters that George Lucas created, right? Yoda, god damn it, Yoda. I feel like Yoda is dead. He has been dead for a long freaking time. But regardless, I think um, I have to take a lot of deep fucking breaths. And my problem is just, I have to just shut down the fucking phone, late night, and not just like going to fucking rent with people and just like, I don't know. It's like, it's like, man, why are you wasting your breath on, basically, you're just wasting your breath, and also, you're just wasting your own fucking psyche, and it's not good. I understand, you may have some issues with, with people, and but that doesn't mean anything. And, the best thing is to talk over, and that's what I was, telling my wife, and yeah, she agrees. I mean, she doesn't. I mean, my wife is pretty much calm. She's a calm woman, although uh, uh, she is also a human. Every one of us have our own perks of life, but I love her, and she loves me too, and yeah, it's just becoming difficult, more difficult than I thought. That fuck this. Why aren't we together, right? This yearning and this desire to be together, just, and at this whole apartment, this is our home, as much as it's mine, and it just makes me kind of like depressed that uh, why is she not with me? It sucks. And I was talking to some of my homeboys last night, and Happy Nowruz. I mean, the New Year, the Iranian New Year. Is that Persian New Year, right? That's what we used to celebrate. I mean, they still celebrate because my wife, she told me yesterday, and she called me earlier, and I was on the call with them. My homeboys from they're older than I am, but from Hunza. So it's like a weekly phone call I do with one of them or both of them, right? I mean, one of them usually. But we were on a three-way call, and we were talking about a lot of things. And and then the poor guys, they've been here. They've been here for years and years and years. And they have wives and kids. They have wives and kids that they haven't seen in like years, 10 years. And that actually really sucks. I mean, that really sucks in a sense that, like, I'm complaining, right? I'm complaining, and maybe half of my complaints are genuine. Actually, I mean, when I complain about the fucking, you know, this whole discrimination that, I feel like that, that just because my wife is from Pakistan, so she can't visit here. And if she were from, a country like you or like UK or one of those, right? Just like my other friend, his girlfriend comes here anytime she wants, she can. And unfortunately, my wife does not have that privilege, and that just like kind of like makes me also depressed. That also makes me kind of angry. Why? And at the same time, we have, again, without saying like that I have anything against immigrants, because I'm an immigrant, and most of the people who came to this fucking country are immigrants, and they started a new life here, right? So the point is that we have immigrants from South America who just, because they are at the border, so all they need to do is just cross the fucking border, and they're here, right? And we also have that issue, not only because they want to come here, but they don't see any future. uh, Especially these four countries, which are just south of the border of United States, and they are basically failed states if you think about that. You know, what are those freaking countries like Mexico, uh, Honduras, El Salvador, and what's the fourth one, right? Those are the four basically failed states. You know, and I feel for those people who are living there, and it's just I'm pretty sure it's a fucking shit show to live there. But at the same time, then also it makes me angry that, oh, maybe if I could get my wife to like Mexico, maybe all she needs to do is to just cross the freaking border, right? Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that, sir. My lawyer told me that 7 months, and that's what I'm relying on. 7 months, sir. 7 months. Hopefully, we will hear something. I mean, am I sounding so desperate to be with my wife? Well, why not? I mean, it's not a matter of desperation, sir. It's a matter of being with your partner for life. All right? I mean, I'm not asking for more. I'm not asking for less. All I'm asking for freaking, like, you know, fair. Something fair for both of us. All right? Because we need to be with each other. And she also helps me with my company now. You know, so I think yeah, maybe I'm complaining too much as compared to like these poor guys, but who have their wives and their kids, and they're waiting. They probably will be waiting without getting into freaking details. They probably will be waiting like more years to get their families out here. But I just I'm just happy that at least sooner they can do that. Uh, because some people who can't just make it. America is a black hole. You don't understand that. Um, as a black hole, I mean, in a sense that depending on what you are doing, because it can just suck you in, especially not the entire America, but like New York and this area, because I felt like I was just like fucking wasting my time. Yeah, partly I had to blame myself. It's also my own fault that I didn't really pursue, like my what do you call, my citizenship and all that, because I am like, fuck this, why, what the fuck am I going to do with that, right? Well, I did, but then I was kind of discouraged in whatever. I mean, I don't want to go into fucking details, but uh the best thing, obviously, for me, was or has been, is that I have found a woman who loves me, unconditionally, obviously. Well, yeah, I mean, well, don't you have to first love yourself unconditionally, sir? I think that's what it is. And obviously, she wants to take care of me. I want to take care of her. And and I think I I went to mountains 20 years after 21 years, last year, and it's just peaceful, so peaceful up there, and as opposed to this goddamn, like, what do you call, the Sims factory here? Oh my god, man! Like, their fucking operation, right, is like fucking 24 hours, except for like Sundays. That's why sometimes I go into my den, where my washer and dryer are. That's where I freaking sleep, to be honest with you. So it gets to a point. It gets to that point where I can't sleep in my own fucking bedroom. Can you believe that? Because I'm not used to this stupid thing. And yeah, you can say that, yeah, why did you buy this apartment, sir? Well, I thought, that these fucking people, the factory, it kind of pisses me off and also makes me angry at my own self. I thought that okay, so I mean, that's like a factory. I mean, it's not a factory. It's a metal, right? It's a metal compaction, whatever the hell it is, right? They receive the metal and they do the compaction and all that, right? And scrap metal. It's a scrap metal where they receive scrap metal and whatever the hell it is, right? And so I thought that, all right, well, they do it during daytime, and they probably shut down like 7 o'clock at night, on weekdays, and then they go home, right? No, 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 no. So this is the fucking issue, right? This is the fucking issue, and and I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, do you have any fucking regard for like fucking human life, Especially like if I had kids here and this was going on, like, and I would be fucking furious. I'm already furious, because of that. And I think if I'm serious, if I'm really serious, right? And I mean, other than that, my apartment is perfectly fine. It's a nice enclave of these other condos and etc. etc. Right? But I think the noise laws in New Jersey are kind of like, I think they're fucking lame. I was looking up, and I just don't have fucking time. I want to talk to the officials, New Jersey, Department of Environmental Protection. I think they're the ones who are responsible for the fucking noise pollution, right? And I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to tell them, hey, listen, man, these people are fucking working. This factory works like at almost like every fucking day, 24 hours. And I mean, and then they make noise. They're going to say, oh, they make noise, but then what's the noise, So I'm probably going to, if I'm going to be, I should be serious, because I talked to some companies about my window. What can we do? And apparently we can't do anything except like fucking replacing the goddamn window, right? So there's supposed to be a condo board meeting tomorrow, right? And without getting into too many details, but I think they postponed it because I got an email that because I wanted to actually go there, and I wanted to go there and ask them, hey, so what the hell is the deal with the Sims factory? Because apparently, they work 24 hours and they make noise, right? Has anybody actually done anything to, I'm not going to say, oh, let's shut them down, but I think they need to basically limit their fucking hours of operation, you know? And so I think the residents here are so busy, and everybody's busy in their own fucking life, and nobody really cares, I think. Although you think that, why don't they care? I mean, I haven't talked to any of my neighbors here, because everybody's to their own. Nobody fucking talks to anyone here. I don't even know who my neighbors are, except for the ones next door. They are an old couple who are in Florida right now, with their dog, right? And I saw the lady who was actually who was moved into the other apartment next to mine, right? And I'm like, dude, I mean, has anybody actually ever like said anything about this fucking factory? And oh, there's a no. By the way, there's noise. And maybe we should do something. Maybe we should file a complaint, right, with the state DEP, right? And so I'm like, dude, I actually wanted to go to the board meeting tomorrow, right? And then talk about with the board. Hey, so what's up with this fucking factory? Am I repeating myself? I think I'm repeating myself. But in any case, so you get my point, right? So I gotta be here for at least a year. Actually, more. I would love to be here for the rest of whatever time I'm gonna be here until me and my wife, we decide to like move somewhere else, right? Somewhere further into Jersey, and maybe like buy a house or something, right? If we can, save some fucking money and all that, right? And then sell this apartment. But at the moment I'm living here, so I got to like live peacefully, right? Without being like a fucking angry person who is actually like not happy with this fucking factory and their noise and all that. And I'm pretty sure many of my neighbors feel that the same way. But you know what, maybe I should just like talk to them, right? Maybe this weekend I'm just gonna like knock on one of their doors and ask them, hey, what do you have you ever heard of like a complaint? I mean, or anything that we can do, anything can be done. So Am I goddamn repeating myself? I am. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. How is your week going? It's Tuesday night, right? Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. So, I can't wait to play some golf because that's like my therapy. Golf is like a therapy for men, I think, and to an extent for women as well who are into like sports, right? Just like, for example, for women who are like more feminine, their therapy probably is like, oh, let's just, sit at the bar with my female friend, drink wine, talk shit, and laugh out, right? Or, oh, I'm gonna go to manicure, pedicure, maybe that's my therapy, right? That's probably what they say, right? And so, yeah, this is like the therapy for me, where when at least the weather is like, I'm not asking for like fucking 70, 80 degrees, but at least it's gotta be at least in the 60s, and which is going to happen soon, sir. You know that, which is going to happen soon, and because it's already like March 21st, basically, it's like official spring, official spring, and oh, we got 64 on Thursday. How about that, sir? 64. But 64 with rain, right? That doesn't make any fucking sense. See, this is the fucking problem with Northeast. Northeast is always so fucking tricky when it comes to like springtime, because Northeast is always like fucking like cold and it's like depressing, right? Up until now, I think I've said this like gazillion times. Gazillion fucking times I've said this. And I'm like, dude, it gets to a point where you become so fucking desperate. I understand now why people actually who are from here, right? Who have the courage and who have the money to actually spend 6 months down in fucking Florida, right? Just like my neighbors, right? Because they already know that it's fucking miserable up here, especially if you are old and it just becomes so fucking miserable. Although this year we were lucky, at least we didn't have any fucking snow, right? But the whole fucking stretched out winter situation here in Northeast, it's a fucking disaster, dude. Think about it, right? I mean, yeah, sir. I mean, if you're complaining to like, if you were to live somewhere else just for the sake of weather, I think San Diego. I would live in San Diego. San Diego weather is like fucking perfect, except like that fucking fog in the morning. It's always like fucking like foggy, up until like noon. But then the temperatures are fucking awesome. You can play golf, you can do whatever the fuck you want, you can be outside, right? And it's not that hot, it's not that cold. That's the perfect fucking temperature, right? But then, hey, I just settled here in fucking Northeast because that's where I went to school, That's where I got my job and etc., right? But California is also a shit show in its governance and all that, right? Although San Diego is still kind of like sheltered, from all that bullshit of like fucking Hollywood, San Francisco, and the fucking homelessness and all that, right? And so, what am I gonna do? Like, I mean, I just had to wait for like a couple of more weeks. Uh, Hopefully, then I can go to the 9 hole here in Jersey City, which is a small, nice golf course, well maintained, right? Or then go to fucking Staten Island. Staten Island has a couple of golf courses, right? And which may call Oh, Queens has one. Uh, oh, the Pelham. I think Bronx has one too, which is I think is that also like a public golf course in in what the hell was that? Oh, that fucking stupid speaker. Uh, Bronx golf course, right? Bronx. I'm getting a lot of work in the Bronx, by the way. Bronx golf course. Okay, so Pelham Bay. So Pelham Bay has a golf course, right? And Van Cortlandt. Yeah, Van Cortlandt, I think that's the best golf course, actually. Reviews on public golf courses in the Bronx, Van Cortlandt Golf Course, Trump Golf Links at Ferry Point. Oh, Trump has a golf course too? Jesus Christ. Isn't he like getting indicted in the federal court down in fucking Southern District of New York? Anyways, that's not my. Okay, I don't want to even talk about that. All right, so I can't wait to like go to any of those golf courses, and just just had to wait for the fucking weather, and it's just a fucking disaster. And you think that, oh, it's springtime, so now you even be able to see like leaves and all that. No, 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 sir. In Northeast, you don't see any goddamn leaves until like fucking April. All right, you don't see any fucking leaves here. So that's the fucking disaster we have. In Northeast, it's harsh climate, and just I feel like just what the boy, it's like a grind here. It's like a fucking grind. You go to work, and then you come home, and then the weather is like fucking still not like warm, and people want to come out to the fucking parks, but it's still like fucking windy. And because we are basically up, like my apartment building is right on the fucking water, right? You can see, if you look out my window, you see that French kind of a French door kind of a window, right? That's where I actually set up my computer there, my workstation, right? So that actually makes it even worse for us, because we are just next to the fucking water. Like if you go inland, right? Inland, it's much warmer. No fucking winds, really. Uh, so what else do I want to talk about? I mean, I just turned my fucking podcast into like a rant, really, about fucking weather, and like really nothing substantial. I'm sorry. I mean, substantial, sir. What substantiality you're talking about? Like, what's the news? I mean, is fucking Elon Musk doing something else other than like fucking Twitter? How is Twitter, by the way? Twitter, yeah, I had to fucking get off Twitter, man. I had to be like the Sam Harris, Sam Harris, he got off the fucking Twitter. Although I don't agree 100% with Sam Harris. I mean, remember that whole fucking thing between him and Ben Affleck on Bill Maher's show, right? Remember that? And so Ben Affleck is kind of a little bit right. He's I'm not saying that he's 100% right. Ben Affleck has his own issues, obviously, right? Every one of us have our own fucking issues, to be honest with you. Nobody's a fucking angel. We all are humans, born with flaws. Not born with flaws, sir. Unless you are born with some like body issues, then that's not your fucking problem. But maybe I I was born very weak and like very like fucking very skinny, and you can see I'm still skinny, and that has been a body image issue for me for a long fucking time. I mean, at this point in time, I don't give a fuck, to be honest with you. But what that has been, and I mean, if you, for example, if you listen to, like, what's his name, Noah, what the fuck his name is, the actor, the famous actor, uh, from not Breaking Bad, sir, Hangover. Hangover actors, right? Is he in Hangover? One of those, right? But he has a fucking no. There's Bradley Cooper and all those fucking guys. Um, oh my fucking god, I can't even say his name. My therapist. He has a Netflix show where he's basically talking to his therapist, right? In so his body image issue was he was overweight, you know. So for me, I think my body image was from the get go was like fucking like skinny. And yeah, I think because where I come from in fucking mountains, people actually like you to have a bulk and mass and this and that, right? And which is kind of like fucking crazy because it's quite the opposite here in the Western world, right? Because in the Western world, like body mass and all that seen is as like a fucking, you know, disaster, right, for health. Well, it is in some ways, but then, yeah, I mean, I just like, I was such a fucking, what do you call, a kid who was just like drinking tea and what's called chai and that fermented bread. That's what I was doing. So I didn't take any. I was born very kind of like skinny, baby. And then on top of that, when I was in my fucking teens, I was just like not like late teens and all that, but like I didn't intake any and a lot of like fucking, what do you call, vitamins, vegetables, or proteins. I mean, I loved meat obviously at that point, but and some of the other proteins, but then I just didn't want to, like, I didn't I was just like so, like, what do you call, spoiled, and I just wanted to, like, for example, have like tea and then the fermented bread. That became like a fucking, what do you call, you know a, an addiction, I think, at that point in my time, in my life. But in any case, so why is it that I go too much into my fucking past? I think maybe I'm analyzing my past, and maybe I should have been a little better person if I could be this, or if my father could have talked to me, was talking to me when I was like teenager growing up, right? I don't know, man. I mean, at this point in time, and right, what happened after fucking COVID, and the best thing is to just not live in the fucking past. Because here's the thing, this is, and again, I have to remind myself, like, over and over and over and over fucking again, right? That this is the boundary. This is the fucking boundary between your past. This is like towards me, my fucking past. And this way is the fucking present, and this way is the fucking future, and this is the fucking present. This is where you want to be. At this point in time, in the fucking present, whatever happened in the past, all right? Whatever has happened in the fucking past is no fucking, what do you call, bearing. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, that's all in your head. See, that's all in your fucking head, but that really has nothing to do with, for example, when I talk about like my father wasn't there, he wasn't talking to me, or I wasn't talking to him at the age of like 11, 12, whatever the fuck it was, right? Yeah, okay. So, well, he didn't. You didn't talk to him, and he didn't talk to you, or he didn't ask you, because I mean, I had to blame him, because I was 11 or 12. I was a kid, but at the same time, yeah, it's all fucking gone, dude. What the fuck are you gonna do now, right? So now is the time to just fucking move on. You know, is to move on and yeah, I say this. It's an easy thing to say, but it's not actually. Because the problem is that the memories, your fucking memories are, some of them they actually affect you, like whatever, psychologically, at least in your life, right? They just sit there and they're wanting to be like fucking, like a fucking, page of the fucking book. They want you to be like someone who's gonna like go into that fucking book and just rip it off and read it out to a whole fucking world. Yeah, that's what the fucking memory is, right? From the subconsciousness. So uh the and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you all feel the same way, and many of you feel the same way, because our past, actually, yeah, I mean, our past, I think this is what it is. I understand. Yeah, the teenage years, between like, I don't know, 10 and 15, 16, 17, I think those are the years where they build your foundation, kind of, right? I don't know, I'm not a psychologist to actually say that, and don't quote me on this. I don't want to be fucking kicked out of fucking YouTube. Uh, for allegedly misinformation. But what I'm saying is that I think those are the years of your foundation for the rest of your fucking life. Psychological foundation, right? So that's where you learn, sort of, right. Although your brain is still like developing, right? Physically, your brain is still developing, means it's still producing fucking, what do you call the neurons, right? Is that what it is? Yeah. So to that point, I think the reason why we go into the past is those some of those moments in our past where we feel like, oh my God, this is where this person actually hurt me, or hurt us, or hurt whoever, right? Psychologically, maybe not physically or whatever, right? And that's one of the fucking demons. And what the fuck are you gonna do with that? And then again, without repeating myself, what you can do is you can just leave those fucking demons. Just say, yeah, that's what it was, so who gives a fuck? Because at this point in time, again, in your life, in your life, this thing, whatever has happened in your past. I mean, if you were beaten up, by whatever, maybe you were abused by your parents, or but that's a different whole story. That's just, yeah, I'm not talking about that. But like, if you were, let's say, neglected, yeah, that can also affect you. And if you were discriminated for whatever the fuck reason, that can also affect you. And then most of all, I think I know why. I think I kind of like, in not in terms with 100% with my father, even at this point in time, is because I feel like he just doesn't he didn't really like honor the fact that, hey man, we gotta live. Well, I mean, he did honor, but I think he didn't. I feel like, at least I feel like, maybe I'm not, I don't speak for my siblings, but I feel like he didn't at least teach me like how to, like, hey man, you gotta, like, you got to not pretend, and you gotta not pretend, and be like, be courageous to say the truth that you don't have any fucking money, you don't have a fridge in your fucking house, you know, and even though, your parents have built a nice house. I'm talking about, I'm just giving you an example, right? And so I think that's what I feel like, the genuine, I mean the honest truth, that the gut, the gut, the truth to your gut. That's what it is, right? That, yeah, we didn't have any money, to be honest with you. No, we didn't have any money. But people, here was the fucking problem, right? Us growing up, me and my siblings, you know, and so they thought that, oh, we built this big house, and we were living like, people who had like color televisions and fridges and washing machines in their houses. No, no. So somehow this fucking image was built by people who didn't really, like, never even visited our home, or they were not our relatives. But somehow this image was formed, and then I remember I couldn't even tell my school, in the school that I was going to. I couldn't even tell my classmates and my class fellows that we had a fucking black and white TV, 12-inch black and white TV. We had that for like 15 years. What the fuck it was, dude. My father bought it in the 60s, I mean, in the 80s. And yeah, I watched all the cartoon shows, all the fucking, like, Hollywood movies which were coming on that TV, right? On that black and white TV, 12-inch black and white TV. But I think we had this image for some fucking reason, among whoever was thinking, oh, they're educated and they're this and that, and we didn't have money. Yeah, education. Yeah, education. My father was, he was a teacher, and then he was an education. So we had all that, but, like, just the pretension that I had to at least go along, and I just couldn't tell my, like, classmates. Not that they were asking me, hey man, you have a color TV or a black and white TV, you know, but not that they were asking, but all of them, because they were well off. Many of them, actually, I think 80%, 90%. And we didn't have any fucking money, to be honest with you, to buy even like a color TV. I'm talking about like the 80s, like late 80s, right? Mid to like late 80s, when TV came to the fucking mountain, right? And so that kind of, like, fucking, what do you call, just like the genuineness. I just feel like I think that's the gap I have between me and my father. I think, where I feel like, why did I have to, like, pretend that, oh yeah, hey guys, so yeah, we have a color TV, 20 inches, and we have a fridge in our house, when we didn't, so I think it was a big communication gap between me and my father. We were growing up. And so, and he didn't put the effort to, like, ask me, hey man, what's going on. And I was just a fucking rebellious teenager. I didn't give a fuck. And so that's it. So that's my take on this, and that's why I think I go back to fucking past, and I feel like, why, why do I have to actually go back, and why can't I just fucking say, fuck this, this is it. I don't have to go to the fucking past, and that's it. Because, yeah, I had all those, but but I mean, yeah, that's all gone. Here I am. So who gives a fuck? And so that's the thing. I had to put the real effort to, like, put behind my, like, my past, and maybe I'll talk to a therapist again. I don't fucking believe in therapists again, because the guy charged me like 200 fucking $60 for 1 hour session. And he said, "Oh man, you should find some activities." I'm like, "Oh my god, really? Aren't therapists supposed to, like get into your fucking subconscious and find out what the problem is, right?" But in any case, yeah, yeah, some therapists are good, some therapists are bad. So I think I should close my podcast. It's already like 56 minutes. I talked about a lot of things, but I'm glad actually I did talk about this whole thing with my father, because I mean, he's not. My father is a very nice person. You know, he fed us with whatever he could, and he gave us whatever he could. But I think there was a gap in there. Where he was. For example, he was like, he went to Glasgow, 1989 and all that, right? And he was basically reading all these, like, books on education and all that. And I wasn't even talking to him. He didn't even bother to ask me, "Hey man, why aren't you talking to me?" Instead of, like, reading those books about, like, education and kids and all that, right? I'm like, oh my god. So I think that's the thing. And my father, I think he realizes that too. Uh, but in any case, so I didn't want to. I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't want to turn this podcast into some sort of a self-directed therapy. You know, because I feel like that was the gap that I had with between me and my father. And I don't know. Maybe you guys should. You should also look into this and see if any of this affected you or whatever. But I guess, because whatever, at this point in time, if something is in your psyche that's going to come up, you should talk it out with your friends or whatever, with your wife and whoever, because talking is the best therapy. Talking is the best therapy. Get it out of your fucking chest, because if you're going to suppress it in your own fucking chest, and it's just not going to help you. Yeah, my problem is that sometimes I express it too much. uh but then the question is, should I actually, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's the okay? So if somebody asks me, okay, so man, yeah, so your father, he didn't talk to you, he didn't ask you. So what is the solution to this, right? So I don't know. I had no fucking idea. But this probably a solution to this is that just to move on, I think, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just put the effort into, like, just moving on. That's it. All right, everyone. So 58 minutes, 47 seconds. I mean, I didn't get into, like, fucking, like, otherworldly dimensions and and all that this time, because, and I'm sorry, I apologize. Uh, it's just that I just feel like there was a gap. I mean, there was a gap, in my life, in my teenage years, where I just feel like my father wasn't who I wanted him to be, or at least in communication, because I think he should have put the effort, because he was not 11 years old. I was 11, at that point. So, but other than that, I think besides the communication part, I think he did whatever he could for us. Even at the later age. Even when I went to college, engineering school, and all that, right? So I thank him for that, and my mother and everybody else, you know. Uh, but yeah, these things can surface in your life. So just be careful. Be careful and how to deal with them. And sometimes, you know, it can be a disaster. You know, you just become angry and you feel like your father wasn't there. You know, and then etc. etc. Right. So for us men, I think a lot of issues, a lot of things also have to do with our bringing up in our, you know, in our childhood, and especially in our teenage years. And I'm pretty sure you ladies out there, you feel the same way, right? So in any case, all right. So I assume you all are having a great start of your week, although it's already Tuesday night. But I'll see you all next weekend or Monday.